Hi everybody, welcome back to NQ Lioness. So what you're looking at here is my trading day from Friday, September 20th, 2024. It was not a great trading day for me. I don't like to scalp. I ended up getting into my emotions a little bit, and so I feel like this video is the perfect example to show you what not to do. And if you're a scalper or you're looking to scalp, this video can kind of give you an idea of what it's like to be a scalper and what scalpers go through. I don't like scalping. I've done it for like a year or so, and it was a lot of emotional capital gets spent when you're scalping. So I would rather focus on um, holding the trades for slightly longer than scalping little trades to get to a profit target, which it just doesn't work for me. I like to focus on the trade and not the profit target. But today, that I was in this trade right here, and I wanted the trade to. I was thinking that it was probably going to go down and test this zone, if anything. Doesn't mean the trade always has to work. It could work. I figured since there was so much buying down there, there is a wick. We could run the wick on the 15-minute chart, which is the left side of the chart, or we can find support before then and bounce. And the right side of the chart is the 5-minute chart that we're looking at. But here I'm just sitting into the trade, and what you'll notice is that the trade will give me $900 at a point. I didn't take it, and so since I didn't take my original the money from my original trade, my bias starts to change. See, here I'm thinking, I'm just moving it and I'm thinking, well, we could go here. I already knew this when I first took the trade. I was thinking the top of this wick or the top of the green wick there, that green wick, the green candle with the two wicks at the top and bottom that are in between the larger body size white and green candles. It's the one right at the bottom on the left hand chart, the 15-minute chart. So I was just kind of moving it back and forth to see if I wanted to adjust my target or not, because it was starting to fail right here at this area. And you can see by the wicks coming in. So I knew it probably would go a leg lower. I wasn't sure how low. So right there, that's when I should have cut the trade. I knew I should have cut the trade because of how price started to bounce. Not only that, before then, the candle before that candle, if you look on the right hand side, the current candle that's moving, the candle before that has a wick, and the candle before that has a nice size wick, which lets me know that the buyers are starting to step in. Sometimes the buyers get ran and the sellers sell off another leg and the trade plays out. But once it starts to stall around a certain price like that, or even a certain profit, if you're not comfortable with looking at the prices, if you look at the way the profit is and loss is moving, it will kind of tell you if you're stalling or if you're moving. So right here, there's no momentum to the downside. We're not getting any follow through, excuse me. So I knew I should have cut the trade. Right here, I really knew I should have cut the trade. I did not cut the trade. So now I'm thinking, okay, now my bias is changing a little bit because I've already known the buyers were in here. Now I need to flip bullish, but before I flip bullish, I need to find an area to get out, and it becomes harder and harder because then you don't know. You start to think, well, maybe I should get out now, or maybe I should wait and see if the price drops a little bit. So, all these things are going on in your head, and that's what makes trading hard. Not only that, I'm thinking that I had $900 and I didn't take it. So now I'm a little upset because the trade played out. That was a great trade. That was good money. It didn't go all the way to my profit target, which sometimes it does. And I'm good at recognizing that sometimes, but for whatever reason, this day, I didn't cut the trade, and I kind of got upset with myself. So it probably caused me to sit in the trade a little longer than I would like to, because if not, I would have cut the trade and then I would have let the market tell me what it was going to do. Since there's buyers in, I would have waited maybe 5-10 minutes, sometimes 15, to get that confirmation that we are reversing and going to the upside. Because sometimes the market will drop down and reverse immediately, but other times it will give you some kind of structure before before it turns and goes the other way. And sometimes that could take 10, 15, 20 minutes, even 30 minutes, right? Within a 30-minute candle, you'll watch the 5 minute or the 1 minute, whatever works for you, and recognize those market structures before you take that trade to the other side. And so here, as you can see, price is starting to barcode, right? We have a lower low, and we have kind of a lower high in this candle. That green candle on the right hand side on the 5-minute candle, that is currently being played out. It hasn't closed yet, but I can see the price action, and I can see that buyers are not letting the price go too far below this area. So I know I need to get out. And at this time, I'm starting to trade my profit and loss, which is not good. You always want to focus on the trade. But right now, I'm thinking to myself, well, I just want to get out green. I don't care if it's $5, $100, whatever. I just didn't want to get out red because I had $900 in profit at some point in time. And now the reason why that's not good is because the moment that I start, and sometimes most traders, the moment that you start focusing on the profit and loss, right, the P&L instead of the trade, that's when trading starts to go downhill, and that's when tilt can start to kick in. There's a lot of things that can cause tilt to kick in, like seeing $900 and not taking it, and revenge trading or trying to trade to get that back. But yeah, it's never good. Tilt is never good. But we'll see how this plays out. I want you to see what the trade does and see how the price action plays out. See how it forms these barcoding candles, kind of a cluster, right? To let you know that buyers are not going to let it go too much lower. And I am going to speed up some of the parts of the chart where I'm not speaking so that I can shorten this video a little bit because it is 71 minutes long. But I wanted to let you guys see these trades play out because I did not have a good trading day. I ended up positive, but my execution of the trades for me was not good. I don't like to scalp. I don't like putting myself in that position to scalp. But that's what happened. And so if you look at the chart here, you can see that we have a higher low. More indication that we probably are going to flip to the upside. Right now, we're just kind of stalling out at the initial balance low. So this isn't really a good area for me to be trading in, and I knew it. But again, you know, I didn't take the profits when I should have. And so I'm still sitting in the trade, waiting for, one of the seller's candles to come in so that I can get out with at least some profit. At this point, I am thinking, oh shoot, we're about to break. I don't think I'm going to get another chance to get out, but I again have to wait. This is the result of not taking my profits when I seen them. So now I can either cut this trade for a loss and wait, which would be the smart thing to do, and wait for the next setup, right? Because if we take a small loss, we can recover it easily. Or I can sit and wait for some green to show, right, and take a small profit on this trade. But see, that is the thing. That was my ego talking. That was me not wanting to take a loss after seeing that I had a positive profit on that trade. So in this case, it worked, but that's just not a good habit to have. It's just not. It doesn't work out well all the time. Maybe I've done it so much so sometimes it does work, but when it doesn't work, it gets really, really bad and you could potentially blow an account for it. So we're just kind of in a zone right here. We're not pushing up, but we're failing to break down. As you can see here, that's where I moved the target, my profit target, thinking, okay, I'll just take, these profits if it runs this wick. I think it might run, this wick. This is just not good trading. It doesn't happen like, I mean, sometimes it does. That's why I was thinking that. But again, hindsight is 2020. I knew when I was in it, I shouldn't have been trading like that. I should have put it right at the beginning of the wick, like I stated I usually do before in previous videos. And as you can see, that's why if I would have put it before the wick, if I'm thinking it's going to run the wick and I put my profit target slightly before the wick, then I'm almost guaranteeing that I will take some kind of profits. So I did take a $300 profit there. You can slow down the video and see once it turns gray, that's how much I took. It was like 300 and something dollars. And then what did I do? I got right back into the trade with the same bias because I didn't want the trade to go play out without me. That is a big no-no. That is a huge no-no. Remember, I already knew that the trade was turning bullish. So instead of me waiting for the price action to confirm that bullish reversal and that give me the confirmation that we were going up and get into the trade, I didn't want to miss out on my original trade that I had put on, and it's going to cost me. See this barcoding? It's letting me know that price may or may not continue another leg to the downside, which means I probably should not be in this trade. I should wait for confirmation. And the fact that we failed to break lower and we're seeing buyers step in was more confirmation that we're either about to enter into a bullish divergence or a full reversal. And judging by the market structure here, you can tell it's not going to be a bullish divergence. It is going to be a reversal because of the smaller pullback before the current price action we are in now. So I lost $980 on that trade, and then I flipped my bias to bullish. The profit and target realized profit and loss was negative $655. So at this point I have to scalp, right? I know we were going bullish, so now I'm just gonna scalp my way up. So I took some gains there. I'm probably negative 200 and something or 100 and something dollars at this point. There it is, negative 124 and some change at this point. And looking at the market structure, you know, the higher low, I'm thinking we can at least get up there to the purple line, which is 20,026.25. So I'm just going to scout my way up to there is what I'm thinking. But in between doing so, I make money and I lose money. And it's very emotional. It's a lot of emotional capital spent, guys. I spent 70 minutes trading. I did end up the day up $1,300, but I just wanted to show you guys how not fun scalping can be, right? And how much more easier and calming and relaxing, so to speak, right? You're still gonna go through all the emotionals a trader goes through, which it's not gonna ever go anywhere, right? The more you trade, the more experience you have, the more you build your skill, you just start to deal with those emotions differently, right? It doesn't matter if you're trading 5 years or 20 years, but we'll get into that in another video. But you'll see I'm scalping, I'm taking losses. There's a bunch of ups and downs. I'm up profit and then I'm back down in a negative. And I just want you to watch these trades play out and see how frustrating it can be. Trying to scalp. I'm not a great scalper because I'm looking at every single little pullback or each candle as a pullback and then I'm buying in. And when probabilities start to kick in, it's just not good for your profit and loss, your net profit and loss for the day. It's just not good. Doesn't end up good. Probably end up negative the more you trade. But some people are scalpers. Some people are great at it. I just don't like to do it unless I absolutely have to, where it's like a range in market and the range is pretty defined and it's a wide enough range to scalp. Other than that, I like to just take small trades out of zones into the next zone, scalp them if I have to, just to lock in some of those profits, because it is futures, and futures is a different ball game than options or stocks. And here's a scalp for a profit of $200. So here I'm going to just be scalping the same bias to the upside, and I'm going to take a quick profit of $250. Our realized profit is now $282.20 for the day. Next, you'll see a quick scalp of like $100 or so. Right here is that trade is actually for about $90. And here is a quick scalp for about $210. We are now a realized net profit of $708 for the day. I still currently have the same directional bias to the upside at this point. Took a quick scalp here, tried to take $130, and I think I ended up getting about $90. Realized profits for today is now $771.80. And so right here, if you look to the left on the 15-minute chart, this is where I'm knowing that we can see some resistance at. And so I'm not quite sure if the trade will work, but I'm taking my chances at this point because of the momentum that we have and the strong bullish candles that we have. But I know that judging by the right 5-minute chart and those 5-minute candles that we have, 3-4 candles in a row, that we're due for a pullback. So I really shouldn't be in this trade, but if it pops, I want to catch it. And if not, I'm willing to take a loss and wait for the turnaround because I know I'll make money. But again, I don't like to trade this way, but I ended up trading this way today, and it was so draining. And I did end up taking a loss of overall $390 on this trade. And so I got back in for a quick flush to recover $120 of it. I was keeping in mind the overall upward trend and that this was probably a pullback, and I was still looking for a buy. So then I enter back into the same scalp to see if we would go and test the initial balance high, or on the left, the 15-minute 100-day moving average, or on the right, if we would flush through the smaller moving averages I have there. That did not happen. What was confirmed was that this was a pullback of the original upward trend. And so once I seen the momentum kick in on the smaller time frame on that candle, I flipped to a buy. But not before taking a $410 loss on that trade. Okay guys, this is where tilt is kicking in a little bit, and I'm really trading my profit and loss because I am now negative $103 unrealized. I'm down $140 in this trade, and I've put on 4 contracts instead of 2 to try to recover the losses that I have sustained over this time. And so as you can see, scalping can be very emotionally draining with a bunch of ups and downs. A year or 2 ago, I would create these kind of environments for myself, and that's what kind of forced me to learn how to scalp. But at that time, I was blowing account after account after account. See, chasing that $900 trade today, a year or 2 ago, I would have blown the account because I wasn't disciplined enough to understand pullbacks, to wait for pullbacks, or even to be able to take a loss and then know that that's okay because the next trade might recover that loss and then some. Now, I still get affected by a loss, but I have a little more experience to understand that a loss right now doesn't necessarily mean the next trade will also be a loss. If I'm able to be patient and wait for a setup, flip my bias right to adjust to the market state that it's in. If I thought it was going to sell off and I go short and it goes long and it's a confirmation that it's going long for, and I'm able to get in for a trade, then I need to be able to flip my bias to do so. And so this trade was a great example of that. I was able to flip and take a quick profit of $240, which brings us positive $270.80 on the day. And so my overall bullish sentiment has not changed because I have not seen any market structure that lets me know that we are failing to push higher or that lets me know that we want to go lower. And so we entered back into that trade, same directional bias for a run of those highs that you can see on the right-hand chart, the 5-minute. You have two candles where there's almost equal highs. They're not equal highs. There's actually a lower high. We took that trade for a run of those highs, and we were not correct. It looked like it was going to flush. We didn't want to be a part of it. So we had to get out with a $300 loss on this trade. This is how challenging scalping can be. And I'm probably being a little impatient and not waiting, but I'm trying to catch a very specific thing. I noticed that we are going to run those highs. I just don't know when. So what you see is me trying to get in and trying to be a part of those highs getting run. And I'm taking some losses and some gains doing so. And so here I'm just waiting to enter into a trade, in which I do, and I take a quick scalp for $250. So here I entered into the same trade, same bias, looking for a push towards those highs. The same highs that we were targeting earlier in the trades. Again, this video is sped up to make it shorter, but there's certain parts of the video where you can slow it down to see the net realized profit and loss for the account at that time. And that scalp gave us $160. We are now up $316 in realized profits. So then here we jumped in for a quick scalp and we were able to exit with $90. And so as you can see, we finally made a run towards those highs. In hindsight, it's 2020, right? If we would have just held the trade for that entire move, we would have made out good and we wouldn't have had to deal with the fluctuations of the net profit and loss. And so guys, at this point, this was the last trade I entered into. I was willing to take whatever I was going to get from the market today. I was done with the back and forth, the too many fluctuations and emotions and the net profit and loss overall. I was just entering into this trade so that we can run those highs. Once we ran the highs and made a new high, I was just of that market structure that you see there. I was just going to get out of the trade. I was started to get emotionally affected. I was realizing that I was going to go on tilt because it felt like all the work I was putting in, I was just getting knocked down in the next trade, and then I would get up in the next trade, and then knocked down in the next and up. And it was just too many fluctuations overall. And so I was ready to give up. This was my last trade. And as you can see, this is how the trade played out. It actually ended up being a great trade. We did go run those highs like I anticipated. And I ended up the day a little more than $1,300. But this overall was a terrible trading day for me. You might watch this and think, why is it so terrible if you made money? Well, today I did, but trading like this tomorrow may not make me money. It may cost me my account, right? I mean, like everyone else, I try my best not to let that happen, but I am human, and sometimes, those emotions kick in, take control, and you go on tilt. But as you can see here, coming up shortly, the trade played out. We had buyers step in. We ran those highs like I thought we would. And overall, that was a good trade. But my trading day overall, like for the trading day, I wasn't happy with it. It didn't leave me feeling good. It left me feeling like I took too many trades and I didn't really have much control. Which I didn't. I put myself in a position where I ended up having to scalp, and I didn't want to. I did end up green overall in the day, so I'm thankful for that. But, this is just a prime example of how, challenging trading can be. So I hope you guys get some value from this, maybe learn what not to do, and also learn that it is possible to climb out of a hole. But, with the more experience that we get as traders, we will, well, one, become better at climbing out of a hole, and two, become better at preventing ourselves from even being in the hole in the first place so often, so much. I can't say that, there's a silver bullet that says if you do this, then you're never going to end up in a drawdown that you have to climb yourself out of, because that's just not true at all. So with that being said, I thank you guys for taking the time to view this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments for me. I'm human, like I said. I'm 3 years into my trading career. I will make mistakes. So don't feel bad if you're making mistakes. Don't feel bad if you're blowing accounts. It's all part of the process. But find like-minded people that you can learn from, that you can grow with, that can potentially help you to shorten the learning curve if possible. Read books. I promise they do help. Take the time to invest in yourself if you're serious about any endeavor in life. So I hope you find value. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.